Hello, everyone, and welcome to your next episode of What's Your Mess? Mental, Emotional, and Social Status of Life. I am your host, Tracey D. Armstrong, and today we are going to embark on another special journey with another special guest. Now, this guest has many experiences that has shaped his life and has caused him to transform in a new way. So I'm gonna stop talking about him and I'm gonna get out of the way and I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Michael Padilla, but I go by MP because my brand is Boss Free with MP. Master Planner, helping everybody boss free. Just symbolizes not only being boss free, but being spiritually free, being free from, from the chains that the world has given us and all that kind of stuff. So I actually started at an early age. I was born in West Texas. So, so my name is MP for the ones that know me. The ones that don't know me, my name is MP. So, so just super excited that Tracy was able to invite me to this broadcast. And so, I didn't have a lot of, I lived in a area where we had a kind of a farm. We had cows, we had chickens, and, we didn't really fight for money. I didn't live that lifestyle. It was just a different lifestyle. And it was fun because we had to gather our own eggs. We had cows as pets, and, we just had a good time. But, parents, they're not conditioned or actually trained or taught how to be parents. So they were the best parents that they could be. And I praise my mom and dad for what they've done, the best that they could have done. And I'm who I am now because of the things that I took, the good, the bad, the ugly, and now I'm here. So fast forwarding, I was quickly wanting to get out of the house at age 17 because I was in the cult religion, I believe, JW, where your mind is controlled. You got to think a certain way. You can't think outside the box. And it took me years to really find out that I was in that box. So, anyway, I got out of the house and, I just stopped. Partying was the thing, just partying and having fun. And I just found out really quickly the people that you hang around with are going to be the people that you become. And I found myself going to jail for the first time for DUI, doing drugs and just doing the bad things, that I thought I was missing out, that my parents had stopped me from. So fast forwarding from there, that ended up me making bad decisions. And, the quote I always say is like, if you're not disciplining yourself, society will discipline you. And it ended up for me putting myself, I got 2.5 years in the penitentiary. So it was a big thing that I had to go through, grow through, and I had to be a different person coming out. And so, that's what happened. And, ended up with my first girlfriend at first for 2 years. And then we got married for, good 7 years total, 8 years actually. And so with that being said, she was just a mom. The only thing we had in common was, doing drugs and drinking and just partying. Really never had a really surface relationship. However, when I found out about personal development, I was like, wow, I want to learn more. I want to do more. So I actually got into my first company, prepaid legal, unlimited access to attorneys, made some good money, grew with her for a while. And so fast forwarding, we moved to Florida. She got pregnant. Well, by me. Well, anyway. So we had a baby. We moved back to Texas. We lived in Florida for a minute, moved back to Texas. And, a relationship was really rocky. And so when we had the baby, it kind of got us a little closer. And then, she was very young. And so very quickly, within, a couple years after my daughter was born, she decided, hey, I've been doing everything for you, my mom, my daughter. It's time for me to live my life. So she wanted to go clubbing. She wanted to do all these other things, which I was in personal development. I was like, no, that's not going to work for me. So with that being said, I had to figure out, this is not the lifestyle I want. However, I got, full custody of my daughter because I proved that she was an unfit mom because she was just partying and doing a lot of things. But one thing that I really found out when I seen my daughter at about 2 a.m. in the morning, because I was living with my mom, because I just didn't want to fight with her. She always had, people over partying and stuff. And I passed by the house, and my daughter's out there on the porch with, 2 grown men and, 4 or 5 women out there, and they're smoking and just partying. And I'm just like, God sent me a message saying, you need to get custody of her. I was like, wow, I need to do something. That's going to be hard. So long story short, I can go through the story later on, but I was, granted temporary custody. However, my ex, she had to pay me child support. She didn't pay child support for 3 months. Surprisingly, I called her up. Well, actually, she called me. She says, hey, I haven't paid child support. I don't want to go to jail. Please, lift it, give me grace or do something, help me out. I said, I'll help you out. I said, I'll tell you what, give me full custody of my daughter and I'll drop child support. And without thinking, not, hey, give me a week, give me 2 weeks or anything like that, immediately she said, okay. And I was like shocked. I was really shocked. And what happened was I called my attorney, told her drop the papers, and I got full custody of my daughter. And now, fast forwarding, she's 16 years old. After 7 years being a single dad, my mom helped me out a lot, but I was working, but I always took her to school, get positive things about everything. We did videos on Instagram for 3 years straight. Every day we would stop at the school, we'll say, hey, what's good? It's your boy M.P. and your girl. My daughter will pop out in the back. It's A.P. We're having a great day. I said, what's making a great day? My 2 feet hit the ground, and she wouldn't have no teeth, and it was just crazy. It was just amazing how we connected through those 3 years, which inspired a lot of people that sent me messages that I don't leave the house until I see y'all's videos. So, so I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. I've been boss free for 26 years. Because I don't like bosses. I get hives and I get allergic to them, and I just don't like people telling me what to do, when to do it, and how much I'm worth. I go get what I'm worth, and that's where I'm at right this point.
Okay, wow. You unpacked a lot right there. So I'm going to rewind, and I'm going to go back to, I want to go all the way back. I want to go back to if you don't mind, I want to go back to your jail time.
Sorry.
And just ask a couple of questions there. So you say you went to jail for 2.5 years. How old were you then?
I did all of 96. I was locked up 96 and part of 97. So that was what, man? How many years is that? I don't have a calculator in front of me. But yeah, that was. Okay.
And how did that affect you mentally? Because you were, like you said, you were partying, you were living it up, things like that. You ended up in jail. Was jail a moment where you started doing personal development, or was it you went to jail and then you still came out and you were still, living life, and then it was like later the personal development part?
Yeah. So that's a great question. When I went to jail, I knew I was going to prison, and I was just acting a fool. I was like, nobody's gonna tell me what to do. I don't care about anything. I'm going in there. Somebody tries to pump me, I'm gonna whoop their ass. I mean, I was just, I was just like, just gangster lean in there when I came in, because I already knew I was gonna do time. So I was fighting with one of the guys there that supposed to be tank boss, and he tried to call me out. At that time, imagine this, I ain't got no hair now, but I had hair, just my bangs were past my chin. I had it in a ponytail, it looked cool, and got into a fight with him. I beat the heck out of him, and got respect from that. But and then I got thrown in isolation for 3 weeks straight. Didn't even know it was day or night, because the only way I knew is when they brought me breakfast. I knew it was morning time. And I just worked out and everything like that. And when I got out, they put me back in population, got into another fight with him, and they broke me up, put me in another cell. So it was just like, I was just mad at I was just mad at God. I was mad at society. I was mad at everybody but myself, because I put myself in that predicament. I put myself hanging around the wrong people. I did this. And a lot of people go out there and say, this happened to me. I don't know why this happened to me, but it's got to think about it. What did you do to have those things come to you? And God always gives us the tools, and sometimes we ignore them. And it's just like, wow, God told me a long time ago that I need to be loving, kind, and I was not being none of those.
And so once you got out, how did you act then? Did it change, or you went out, you came out, and you were the same? Because I'm trying to see, when did the change start?
So when I got out, I still, had my friends, and we partied, and even when I got off parole, I had a big parole party. We had a keg, we freaking smoked, we did, and just, I still felt lost, and I was not happy, just partying all the time. So my ex introduced me to her aunt, which was doing prepaid legal services. And so when she told me about that, I was like, man, that's interesting. So then I started getting on the calls, and they're talking about personal development, how to get better, what to do, how to be a better person, how to love, how to have joy, be in the moment. And I learned a lot. And I was like, wow, this is a whole different world. I like this. So I kept on the journey. She was with me for a while, maybe a good 2-3 years, and we grew, and we went to Oklahoma, went to a different trip, so we made some good money. But her heart and soul was not an entrepreneur like I am.
So mentally, because that's the same ex that was with you, y'all worked together with the prepaid legal, you started developing, and she started saying, I want to live my life. So mentally, I'm going there now. Mentally, how did that affect you? And let me rewind, because I know that a lot of times people are in relationships, and when they're in relationships, sometimes they don't grow personally at the same level, or they don't grow in the same direction. Some may want to grow entrepreneurially, and some may say, no, that's not what I want. How did it affect you mentally when y'all got to that point where there was the divide?
That's a great question. So there's a book that I would highly suggest. It's with Jeff Olson. It's called The Slight Edge. So basically, it's just what it's talking about is if I'm trying to be healthy and you are not trying to be healthy, you eating at McDonald's today may not affect you, but if I eat healthy, it's going to help me. However, it's a continuous pattern that you're doing every day. If you keep on eating McDonald's and fast food and you're not caring about it, it's the slight edge that either you're going up or you're going to take the slight edge down. So I started to see that she was taking the slight edge down, and then she was like telling me, oh, you just need to get a job, because I'm always, she was watching a movie or something like that. I'm in the room getting some extra training or on a call doing something. She's like, you're always on calls. You're always on calls. Why you can't watch a movie? I said, how much is that going to make me? I was like, unless it's something that I can grow from, I'm not gonna put my time and effort into something that's not gonna help me grow. So with that being said, I just started to see that she wanted to be normal, and she even made the statement is like, hey, I want a man that works from 9 to 5, come home, I have dinner, we have dinner, and we sit down, watch TV, and just kick back and have a good time. And I'm like, when she told me that, my mind is like, okay, this is day after day after day after day for the next 5 years, for the next year, 2 years, 5 years. No. I said, you met me as an entrepreneur. I'm going to stay as an entrepreneur. If you don't want to grow with me as an entrepreneur, I'm going to keep rolling. I cannot let anybody stop me from the dreams and something that I knew wasn't there, but the faith, I knew it was there. So I just kept moving forward no matter what.
And how was it emotionally? Because like you say, you all end up splitting. And this is even after you had your daughter. And emotionally, how was that, I want to say, divide again between you and in the relationship?
Yeah, that was a tough one. I mean, it was a 2.5 years, because it was like, she wanted to get the house, she wanted to get the car, and we had a conversation, and I was like, hey, that's not fair, and this and this and that. And she goes, well, divorces aren't fun. And she hung up on me. I was like, okay.
And so, and you just answered the next question. I was going to ask you, how did it affect you socially? But I want to know, how did it affect you socially with your friendships? Because it sounds like the people you were hanging around for all those years, you made a change. That transformation changed you. So socially, how did how were you affected?
As far as finding new friends or what?
Right. New friends, the old friends, did they all fall away? Did you just stop hanging with them?
Yeah, that's a great question. It made me really go back. It was just like saying driving to another city. I mean, I didn't even have anything to do with them. I was, connected with my, mentors in prepaid legal. I was listening to things. I was growing. I was going to seminars. I was actually part of the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce. I was engaging. So a lot of things shifted and changed. And then what really changed, because I've been a door knocker for 20 years and I was doing alarms. So at the time when I got divorced, to get my mind off of it, I needed to be busy. And that's the biggest thing a lot of people do, is that they fall short. And then you see somebody, I can't live without her, then boom, they try to shoot themselves or something like that. So I had to stay busy. So I worked with Vivint, and they're a summer program. I did 106 sales in 3.5 months. I was top 5 rookie in the company, and I was the number 160 best salesman out of 5,000 people. And I made a significant amount of money, and because I was working every day and everything. So a lot of things shifted and changed from there, as my mom was helping me to take care of my daughter. And so, yeah, it was just like, from there, I just kept on digging and looking for more growth, looking for stuff like that. And me, as being an entrepreneur dad for 7 years, my daughter has been with me with Tony Robbins, Les Brown's, NLPs. She is just a freaking amazing little girl now. She's 17 years old. I said 16. She hears this, she's going to kick my butt. But at 17, of course, what one makes a big difference. But she helps out so much because she's learned so much. And sometimes she reverse psychologizes me, and I'm like, who use that on me? I taught you this,
Right. That's right. That's good. Well, I do want to ask this. If there's anyone that was going through the same type of situation, the same type of mess, whether it's hanging with the wrong crowd, going to prison, going to jail, having a messy divorce, being a single father, having to move back in with your parents, being an entrepreneur, like all of the things, what advice would you give the audience if they're going through any of those situations now?
Divorce is tough because now I'm going through my second one. I got married after 7 years being a single dad. My second ex, she's from Brazil. I really thought we had a great connection. I did some things that I could have done better. There's a lot of things she could have done better. It's not me pointing the finger at her. It's just, sometimes in life, people only serve you for a season. And the thing about it is, I think so big, I blow out like my ex. And now my second ex has pretty much told me the same thing. You get this up and down income, you're doing this and this and that, why don't you get a job and this and that kind of stuff. I was like, okay. So the house that I bought 3.5 years ago, putting $22,000 down, that came from hard work, sweat, knocking on doors. You would have had an average Joe person, you would not have what you have, which I know materialistic is not everything. But it was just that she didn't want to feed into the dream and to expand. She did for a while, but it seems like they just burn out. So it's very important to have somebody that really trusts you, know you, regardless. And that's what it says in the vows, right? Through pain, suffering, sickness, you're going to stay with this person. And that person doesn't encourage you every single day. It's really difficult to move forward. And so, I've been divorced. Now this second one is, it's still fresh. It's almost done with in the next couple of months. Selling my house right now. She moved into her home. She's a nurse, but, working nights, and her conversation is like, oh, I had to take care of this patient. The hospital, the ambulance had to move this person. And I'm about energy, happiness, helping people. Don't get me wrong. I love nurses. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a passion that they need to do. However, it's really hard to connect with somebody when we're on different levels. So you got to really be particular of what you do, how you say it, and also too, don't say too much because that could actually come back at you. Really, just like the Bible says, bite your tongue.
Yes, sometimes you do. So I catch myself and I'm like, okay, shut up, Tracy. I literally tell myself to shut up so I don't say something that later on I'm going to be like, dang it, can't take it back. So before we get ready to wrap up, do you have, I know you mentioned you're an entrepreneur and you have a brand. Tell everybody a little bit more about the brand that you have. And if someone wants to connect with you after hearing this message.
Yeah, so I'm still working on, I already got my brand, which is Boss Free with M.P, like I was talking about at first. Master Planner. Boss Free, at first, I was just like, when I first came up with that, it was actually like 4 years ago. And my mentality was like, okay, you know what? A job is just over broke, and you need to be a boss free. You need to do this and this and that. And now as I got older and I started to really develop who I am and my brand is, boss free means freeing yourself from your mind, freeing yourself from anxiety, freeing yourself from all the distractions, freeing yourself from being mad at yourself or talking bad to yourself. Because the thing about it is, a lot of times, even myself, I got to tell myself, we always, oh man, I dropped that. Dang, what am I thinking? What is it? Those little things are self-conscious things that actually drop our posture of who we really are. So that really carries on big weight. I'm working with J.C. Rangel, and of course, I'm working with Sonia T. Smith with some big projects. But with J.C. Rangel, we're actually helping people we're coaching and mentoring people, helping them to build their own business. We do solar. Economy's getting bad. Electricity costs are going up. They're predicting, next 3 or 4 years that the cost actually within the next 3 or 4 months, cost of electricity is going to go up, 2 to 3 times more. Why? 400,000 people, or actually 400 people are moving to Dallas, here where I'm at, hotspot every single day. Not to mention mining and all that kind of stuff. So solar just makes sense if you're a homeowner. Also, we have water filters. Actually, why drink bad water when you can actually have the right water to filtrate in your body? The way I feel is like, if you take care of your body, just like you charge your phone, you want to charge your body before you walk out that door and make sure you got the right vitamins, you got the right water, you're doing the right things, because you eat bad things, it slows you down. Think about it. If we go out to eat, you eat at McDonald's, I eat Thai food, about 4 o'clock, you'd be like, like, what's going on with you? I got more energy than you do. So those are the things that I would say are very, very critical, very important. And going with that is just like, we just, got to pay attention to what we're doing on the daily activities. What are we doing? Are we getting up early? Are we praying? Are we meditating? Are we stretching? Those things are very important, because a lot of people get up and they just see who's on Messenger, who messaged me, who's on Facebook. And it's just like, I heard this from Ed Milet. He said, before you have screen time, you need to have sky time. Get your ass outside and look at the sky. Put your feet in the ground. Be within yourself, right? Ground your feet without no socks on the ground. Pray to God. Thank God. Then you can start your day.
That's good. Shoot, you should have saved that for the last words of encouragement. Because that was my next question. So before we wrap up.
So my thing is, one of my favorite quotes is this, and I learned this. Good, better, best. Never let it rest. So your good is your better, and your better is your best. Good, better, best. Never let it rest. So your good is your better, and your better is your best. Always, there's good, but we can always be better, and there's always a best. I live with intentions. I live with God, and every day is a phenomenal day if my 2 feet hit the ground.
Yes, and I'm not even going to ask you anything else. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say thank you so much, MP, for sharing your story, because I know that you sharing your story is going to be an encouragement to someone who may be going through the same situation. They see that you went through it, you came through it, and they know that they can do it too. So thank you so much for your time and for your message.
Yes, blessings to you. Thank you very much.
So, as we wrap up another episode of What's Your Mess, I do want to leave you with a powerful quote that I carry, and I want you to carry it in your hearts. If you want to be sad, keep thinking about the past. If you want to be anxious and worried, think about the future. But if you want to be happy, focus on the present day and be grateful for the things that you have. This is Tracey D. Armstrong with What's Your Mess? Have a good one, y'all.